do it. Let's do it.
Because I start the awards. So this is the awards ceremony. I'm also kind of drunk, so we're gonna get through this. Y'all
Me
are gonna
too,
have a good time
Heather.
because this is the fun shit. Anyway, so first of all, we do these like awards, and then we also give everyone a little consolation award, which sometimes is funny, sometimes is game related, but we'll go through that. So everybody leaves winning an award. I think besides maybe one person, but we'll get to that later. So we have the first award of the season, which is the hero of the season. So we do have a few honorable mentions with everything. Now we have had a few really good heroes throughout the course of our series, and I feel like sometimes being in the top all the time is not like what consists of a hero, but being in the bottom all the time is it doesn't really consist of a hero. And there's like a lot of this season I feel like had more villains than heroes, to be quite honest, in my own very opinion. Um just because it was like a little like thing like that, you know. So with the hero, we do have a few honorable mentions. One of our honorable mentions is Jen, because I feel like Jen is someone who didn't really do anything villainous. I do feel like there are times where you can't really say she did much heroic, but like she was definitely more towards that side. Another one, honorable mention was Jesse, because Jesse is someone who would check up on everybody in the game, including Prod at all times. Like, would be just like, Prod, how you doing? Like, that's very heroic. But I feel like this person, because of how they played the game, like going from the bottom to being in actually a decent position, and like not always even in power kind of position, but just never really was, I feel, villainous except for maybe like one time, but it wasn't anything that really had to do with the game. So hero of the season is going to be Chris. Chris, we feel like you
Let's
were
go,
the hero.
Chris.
It was like this kind of journey through that, like this kind of underdog story in that way. And we feel like this one kind of would go more in your realm of things, because the only, I guess, villainous thing that occurred was leaving someone on red or something, and then there was a lot
Can't
going
remember
on there.
who that was.
However, you did message in the chat being like, I'm not going to be around. So you didn't message anybody during that time. So that was a funny thing to watch there. But we
Me
do
and Dime
feel
are
like
fine. I love Dime.
exactly, yeah.
Oh my god, it's such a long week.
What a time.
Dime.
But also for like Chris, it was like before I hosted him in every challenge, it's like this is my last week. Because he was on the block a lot. So like it could have been his last week at multiple points. The game was like, thank you so much for pride. He was always just so grateful. Just like any day he had in the house, was like, nah, man, I could have been evicted just yesterday. So I gotta do my best to reevaluate my position. And that type of attitude, that kind of go get him attitude, was just something very refreshing to see. And like the sea full of like villains, backstabbing and lying and like leaking all these information. And not to say that anyone here is above, doing what they got to do to win the game, but I feel like Chris was an angel. Chris could do no wrong. And there's so many times it's like the Liz effect where he would say something that's true
And then nobody would listen.
to him. No, like, nah, I just felt bad for him. It's why we gave Liz here.
Where's
So
Jesse? I'm looking at
I
her.
trust you, Chris.
Where's Jesse? Where's Jesse?
All right. Jacob, I believe you're up next.
Yeah, you're right. The only one that would own up to being a villain. I think the only one that probably who's one villain of the season before. I gotta give the crown to somebody. Like we said, there's way more options for villain, and for a myriad of reasons, we could have gone anywhere. We could have gone like something like the David route, kind of someone who kind of like ensued in a lot of the chaos, who kind of just was trying to flip things last second and trying to like lie about his vote, stuff like that, making multiple final twos and naming a bunch of chats. We could go the Caleb around, you know, like aligning with tons of people, being in a lot of people's good graces, and shanking them all on the way to the end of the game. But ultimately, we gave this to someone who's kind of like did both. You know, someone who wasn't afraid to revel in the chaos, kind of laughed at the thought of like people's misfortune, and then also simultaneously being in multiple alliances and backstabbing them. I have recruited someone into this community. It's Spellbound, who was the hero. So who would have thunk it? I would recruit a villain. Caden, villain of the season.
Let's go.
So
KK!
solid enough.
For
This is
Danny
the
and
first
Jay,
season.
I
The
voted
first villain
Gav,
of the
by the
season.
way. I voted Gav that first round when he was flipping
like-
out, just so you know.
Like
Causing
what, it
chaos
was
from
like
the
the first
start.
week, and Caden was the first one to be like,
That was
"Yo,
the
we should
funniest
just vote
thing.
for Gab." It would be just like 2 for the price of 1. I'm like, "Oh, so this is what I signed up for." Game.
I think one of my favorite things that kind of led to that was I think it was in the rodents chat.
Oh no.
Kaden was like, it would be funny if everybody in the minority grouped up together, ha ha ha, sucks to suck kind of thing. And it was like laughing at other people's like demise in the game. And I was like, yep.
I think there's instances where people like were like going on about their noms, and I think like a recurring theme is that people didn't like had like an idea through other people that they knew, but the HO themselves didn't say it. Caden didn't give a fuck. Caden was just like, and even when people were campaigning to Caden for their vote, there's like, why would I do that? Beg for it. Why should I vote to keep you? That's a really good question.
Danny can vouch for me though. I did say
I
that
just
for
want
real.
information. They just wanted information. Oh my god. I was like, what
They were so-
information? What information, Kaden? Oh my gosh. Like
Information was hard to find in this season. My
Sure as
lord.
fuck, though, Danny.
Nobody was
Alright.
talking about nothing.
Yo,
Well,
Danny,
you know,
to be honest, you did not keep shit to yourself. I'm gonna be real.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't care to. I wanted everybody to know because I was like, can we please just get in this game? Can we start the game? Like,
man.
nobody's gaming right now. And then here we go. As soon as like I said what I said, it went up. Everybody went up, and it was like, okay, now we got a game going. Now we're ready to fight.
Speaking of ready to fight, physical
Yeah.
player of the season.
All right. All
Oh,
right.
God.
So physical player of the season. So here's the deal. This is our player that we would consider to be the best at competitions over the course of the game. Now, in past seasons, we've gone just like the regular route of like who won the most competitions over the course of the season. And if we did that, this award would go to Jay 100%. But Jay is an honorable mention because we're trying something else. Another honorable mention is a player that, to be frank, we did not expect to win as many competitions as they did, and honestly, I don't think they did. So our second honorable mention is Jesse for winning 4 competitions over the course of the season. But as far as we understand, there was only one player who was voted out of the game in part because people were worried about their competition ability, which is why our physical player of the season is Tawny. Congratulations.
Yes, Tawny.
On being such a big threat that they just had to take that shot at you at last
It's
night.
true, Tawny. It's true.
It's so
Yeah,
true.
we did.
We could not handle like Tawny was the moment. Like
They could
if
not
Tawny got
handle
Or-
100% Tawny.
Or
you know?
was it that people were throwing competitions or were just really bad at them?
Ah,
I
You
mean,
did
it
that.
was
You did
also
that in
both for
competition.
me. So it
Tawny
was
did
both
say
for
in
me.
her
I tried
chat.
every single competition and I did not win every single one. So take that as you will.
Tawny said in her pod chat, she's just like, why can nobody in this alliance win goddamn
Besides Kaden.
comps or something?
Yeah.
I love you,
'Cause I was
Tawny.
like, why the fuck is it me and Jesse?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You know, I
Sorry,
won that
besides
one
Jesse.
HOH though.
no, I think I did mention that, like, right after.
All right. We'll move on right into our next award, which I believe is Liz's award to give
Yeah.
out.
So this was an incredible season to watch. Everyone was playing as strategically as possible in whatever situation they were put in, which was a lot of fun to see from my perspective. I don't know if Jacob's talking at me on mute or if he's talking to somebody else, but
I think it's talking to someone else.
the most strategic player was pretty highly contested, I think. Everyone had, a reasoning for any given player, I think, to win this. We had a couple of honorable mentions for most strategic. One of which was Jen, who was always moving, always thinking about the game in the broader sense, always trying to figure out what the next move was. As well as Caleb, who made it really far with a similar strategy. So both of you were excellent runners up for this award. But in the end, we had to give it to a player who came in completely blind to orgs, first game ever, and did amazing. So Caden, congratulations on being the strategic player of the season.
Yes. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
No, to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit, there was they're obviously monitoring very closely Caden's game. Like, there's a little bit of bias there, but there was so many times where like I just see Caden's mind work in a way to where like I was like, no, I 1000% agree that this is what Caden should be doing. Did Caden always get the way? Not particularly, but I've always agreed that they knew what was in their best interest and what was most optimal, whether it be for them as an individual, but when they were going to their closest allies. Like, this is what I think we should do. I genuinely felt Caden had a
Can
good
I say something too
Yeah.
after Jacob's finished? I do personally believe that Caden was the best player of the season. And the reason I say
Yeah.
this, for this to be your first game and you got that far, I forgot that you were even a new player, Caden. Like, I legitimately
Thank
thought
you,
that I
Danny.
was like, oh my
Seriously.
God, I have to like 3D the mind and figure out how to like get away from them. No, Caden, you were superb. Like, let's switch it. You can win. You're the winner of the season, kind of thing. Like, it's just like you tricked me so much, but I think that your mind is so developed at wherever you are in your life that you can speak properly and be able to say things to people to get yourself in a better way. So I would not be shocked of you winning any other game.
All love for you, Danny. Thank you so much.
Thank you, baby.
I said the same thing to you on my way out, that I would fight for you if you made it to the end. So
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, I think I'm the next
Okay.
one.
What's the next?
So next is social player of the season. Now there are like we always do the honorable mentions. So one of the honorable mentions is Jay, because even though Jay was not in that big alliance, the rodents, that kind of was the majority a lot of the time, Jay was very close with a lot of them, if not most. Not all. I think there's like one or two that weren't as close, but like we always considered Jay rodent adjacent in that sense, just because like the social game was there, and like you had those connections that other, like with a lot of other people, like you had that with like the minority, with the um majority, like, so you were kind of very like in the middle there. And so with your social game, like we did see you going pretty far through this game. Another one of our honorable mentions is actually Jen. So in the beginning of the game, there were so many alliances that were made, and Jen was in almost every single one of them. Jen would be put in almost every single alliance, with one other person who, every single person in this game, minus maybe one person, trusted this person. And I know the jury was very much shitting on how they were social on the way out, but we took more into account social within the actual game before people were getting out and everything. So our winner for social player this season is Caleb. The fact that Caleb was at the top of almost everybody's trust ranking for the Kings game, I want to say, let me just quickly pull it up because I feel like that is a testament to the social game that Caleb did play. I don't have it. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Trust rankings.
Caleb, you deserve.
Yeah, Caleb was at the top of 5 of them. Second in 2 of them, third in 1, and then the lowest was 7th out of 10th for them, and there was like 1/6. And the only 2 people who placed Caleb down low were Chris and Danny. The other ones all were very high, and the fact
I was mad
that
at you.
like
I'm sorry.
I feel like nobody did anything about that at all. We all were
They're
very
Sibs.
shocked because Caleb had a grip on this game just simply because everybody talked to Caleb. It was really amazing to watch. I will say that.
Caleb's the GOAT. That's all.
Thank you, Heather.
And also one last thing with that, just because it's really fun. Caleb would show Prod a like cork board. And it kind of had the social standing, and I don't think it was too far off from the actual social standing of the actual game, and it was pretty cool. It was like a murder board, but it was not murderous.
It was a hit list.
No, it was totally murders.
Tawny, we played it, like we talked. It was, yeah. It was a hit list.
Rat.
Who was on it?
It adjusted throughout the rounds, honestly.
Danny, you
Yeah.
kept getting bumped down and bumped down. We were like, Danny's not really
True.
doing
That was gonna be Dime's
I tried
spot,
not
but
to.
she's a
Yeah,
princess.
if Dime didn't
Really
go,
pressed
Okay,
on
Heather,
really
keep
hard.
going.
Oh, I think it's
Well, that's Jacob's turn actually.
Yeah, guys, what the hell? All right, so now
Oh, this man.
this next the irony of that we'll get to an award later on, but we have best move and we have worst move, and I will be presenting best move.
Ooh.
So ultimately, this is a very difficult choice. Actually, like the 2 honorable mentions and the eventual winner kind of all happen around like the middle stage of the game. We kind of look at it not only as like the one that was not only successful, whether it be intentional or not, but one that kind of paved the way for the game to play in a way that hopefully benefited that player moving forward. The award we're gonna have to explain, but a couple honorable mentions. I fought for this one specifically. There's 2 of them that I really wanted to at least be mentioned. First off, Alex brought this up, was Caden like kind of telling the minority info to kind of get them to target each other week 7.
Let's go.
I
To be
know
clear-
Alex.
To be clear, this is the people that voted that tried to vote Jen
to
out
save Cody. Yeah.
Yes.
to save Cody, and then when that didn't happen, for some reason, those 3 people ended up wanting each other out instead of anyone else, and we traced
Did
that all
we?
back to Caden.
Yeah, no, I
from my
turned,
perspective,
Jen against Tawny and Tawny against Jen, and then Jesse against Jen and Tawny.
something like that. Yeah, that was impressive stuff.
So there's that. I fought personally for this, and kind of goes hand in hand with the actual one award of the move. On Jay's first HOH, I renomming Jesse set like the tone for the rest of the round. It kind of led into was the catalyst for what we gave best move of the season, which is so Dime had this conversation with Caleb, and she's talking about how there's this non-male alliance, because Caden's not a girl, and named every member of the Rodents except for Caleb. And pretty much swapped Caleb with Vicky in this conversation. And by doing so, it saves Chris from eviction. And so much, because of this one move, could have set the tone for the season to be completely different. Because Caden and Tawny are pissed because Jen and Caleb flipped last moment. Jen is super exposed, and people were kind of clocking her a little bit for being in a good spot at the beginning of the game. And while Caleb was able to recover, Jen was not. I think this really had long effects on her in the game. Obviously, Danny, Cody, David reigned supreme, but none of this would have happened had it not been for that conversation with Dime. Dime kind of exposing the rodents and saving Chris there could have really. It's just due to comp results after that I felt that you guys weren't able to get on top of things. Like Cody going home next round really just killed that momentum. And I saw that. I'm like, damn, Dime's good. Like Dime had such a good idea of where the dynamics was, who the core of the house actually was. And because Dime's intention was to get Caleb to flip to target this alliance. No, Caleb was part of it, and it pressured him like, fuck, if I vote evict Chris, that's going to show my cards. It's going to make it side versus side. So now I got to flip to kind of play the odds. Oh, I'm not a part of this alliance because it was at the expense of the one person not in it. I just thought that great maneuver overall. Dime deserves her flowers.
Clocking that tea.
Icon, legend statement, and the moment.
Yeah, had Dime
Thank
not done
you.
that, I don't think the paranoia would have hit as hard. Like, had Dime not been Mike. This is totally an alliance.
That was a chaotic round, to say the least.
If I may ask, was that the round right before Dime and I hooked up, or were we already together?
I don't know exactly when that happened. I feel like y'all were.
I didn't know y'all hooked up.
I feel like
shut the fuck up.
Jim, shush.
I feel like you
I'm
guys.
talking about us as an alliance because we both were like, let's wake this house up.
I want to say you guys were already a thing at that point, but like that was the start of like maybe y'all having some leverage.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, nothing is moving. Like, what is going on?
It's boring.
It was too predictable. We knew you guys were going to do because David did it already.
David told us everything. David was literally trying to like run stuff, and he would like tell us everything.
But the point is, that flip did work, even if David was trying to flip every other round.
No, it's true. It's true. I'll give him that.
Yep.
But I don't think it would have worked if Dime hadn't accidentally clocked you guys. So there you go.
Right. Okay, wait. Can we continue with these? What you call it? I don't care about this. Now.
Awards?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we do have
because we can start talking after this. Let's finish the shenanigans first.
No, for sure. We got more to go through. With that, we have the best move of the season, but now we have the worst move of the season. There was some interesting gameplay at certain points in the game, to say the least. And I'll start with I guess the lesser of the two honorable mentions. Probably the best player this season, Caleb. You made a ton of phenomenal moves throughout this game. However, during live night, framing it to Tawny that the plan was to actually get Danny out.
Yeah.
And that, like, Tawny came into that jury chat livid, and we were like, oh, is she not going to vote for Caleb in the end? Like, this could have just cost Caleb Tawny's jury vote. But, like, you did get your target out, so we'll let it slide.
Hold on.
It shook
why was
Tawny.
you all over my dick for? What did you need? What was the issue?
You did nothing.
You were a good.
What were you trying to get me out then?
No, you were a good smoke screen at the time. Moving on. Our next honorable mention goes to Chris. During the round that Mike went out, Chris was like avid on trying to get Mike to stay. When there was already, power structure that had the votes to get Mike out, and at a certain point it was not going to work, but Chris just kept fighting for it, and that kind of put Chris in a really bad situation for the next.
I don't even care, Chris. You real as fuck. Man.
For the next 2 or 3 rounds or something. But then for our worst move, it comes at the later point in the game, and a player had just been what I would say to be blindsided, or at the very least something happened that they did not want to happen, and then they unexpectedly won HOH, and we were like, ooh, okay, this is the chance to really make some interesting endgame moves happen, especially because the Secret Society is there. But then Jesse nominated Chris and Danny instead of literally anyone else. Like, I understand why it happened, because there was the rapport with the rodents that was still intact, but in our mind we were just like, Jesse, you just kind of got blindsided during live night, and like and Chris and Danny are like the easy noms, and Chris had said that Caleb and Jay hadn't gone on the block at that point, so to nominate at least one of them, and I do think if the noms had went differently and someone else had went home, Jesse could have made it past that final 5 round. So Jesse, I love you, but you do get a worst move of the season. All love though. All love though.
All right, I think it's me.
Okay, what's next?
We're done.
Most clutch win. So there's a few times that like some people won a comp that they probably really needed to, or like was really really good for their game. So an honorable mention for that, which I was iffy with this one being an honorable mention because I don't think this person was necessarily in danger per se, but I think it was a clutch win because of what they possibly wanted to do. So this one is Caden winning the week 6 HOH. That's an honorable mention because they were kind of targeting Jen at that point and were able to kind of get that ball rolling, but then other stuff had happened that kind of led to something else. But the plan didn't fully work out, so it's not like a winner in that case, and it's not a sense that you needed to necessarily win that.
But they were blindsided the round before with the Vicky vote.
That is true. That is true.
It was between Jen or Cody, and I didn't really care who won. So.
Yeah. And then the next one was Jesse winning the week 11 HOH. This was right after the Jen and Tawny eviction day, and Jesse was possibly next on the board. I know there was like kind of like a weird structure going on where it could have been Jesse going that round, or it could have been I believe Danny or Chris. Like there was a lot going on, and Jesse could have been the one going that round. There was talks of that. I believe that Jesse would have possibly been okay, but I don't think they were that she was completely out of danger, so that was a clutch win there. However, the most clutch win of the season was most definitely Danny winning the week 9 HOH, because had Danny not won that HOH, Danny was for certain going home because all the rodents were ready to send Danny home.
100%.
Hayden was like very much gunning for Danny at that point. I remember.
Love you, Danny.
Like,
I think this.
100% the rodents would have like annihilated Danny at that point, and then everybody was like, this was the one person I wouldn't have wanted to win this comp.
And I doubled the score.
Because like all your closest allies at that point, I guess, like you had a few more still in the game, like not closest, but like close enough that they were possibly willing to keep you. But you were.
But everybody else was gone.
100% going home that round.
I knew I was at the bottom. Like I legitimately knew I was at the bottom. There was nothing else I had. Like anybody, like I wouldn't be surprised if anyone nominated me at that point. Even though like I tried to build relationships at that point, I knew I was going home. Like I wasn't even worried about it. And then I won. Shout out to Antonio. But
that was a crazy run, I gotta say.
I knew who I was choosing. Because homeboy, like homeboy, he knows how to play a game. Like if I told him like, sis, it's ride or die. Like it's we win or it's going. That's how we doing it. He was like, okay, I got you. and then Alex got to see.
And also besides that, just watching the rodents having dominated like the past like 3 rounds, and then watching them like scurry around, no pun intended, trying to save themselves was quite entertaining. Let me say.
Prod was very happy because as much as we love like a close alliance, we love much more a close alliance getting burnt down. Like
Yeah.
like we don't like a steamroll here. So it was fun to watch. Like the finally it kind
I
of
knew
breaking
when I
down
was
the
supposed to
boundary line.
win, and that's when I wanted to win, and I won. And that's where
Yeah,
all the
couldn't have come at
most.
a better time.
Yeah.
And moving on, we have the best meme of the season. This goes
Oh,
to
God.
I guess basically a joke that just goes on way too long. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why we picked this one because I don't think it was a joke for some people. But the meme of the season is me getting tomatoes thrown at me no matter what I said. Just any time I said any announcement. Tawny really got that ball rolling.
You're welcome for that.
With just
I
that one,
started
Yes,
that
you're
just for
just that
welcome.
one,
you.
and then just
Tony,
everyone was
tell
like,
him.
Tony, that
down.
was the
Yeah,
best
him.
move of the season, I think. Honestly.
Yeah, actually, and honorable mention is that y'all throwing everything but tomatoes at me because I was like, yo, I want to have some.
That was
Potato.
good. I liked
Tawny
that.
threw
Hot
hot
soup.
soup. Jesse threw a potato. David, a la Jen, hitting Topher with a chair, threw a chair at me too. I'm like, bro, I want to
I
make.
think we could talk a little bit more about that later too with a different award, but we'll get to that.
Hey yo,
Who's next?
Liz.
Oh, it is
Liz.
this award. So Liz.
Oh
Hello.
my God, there is a
Sorry.
fly in my house.
There's loving madness in my household. So
Love to see it.
yes, the that's my mom. So the next award that we have to give out, there was a lot of contest for this one. We had some amazing rivalries that we got to watch this season. For example, honorable mentions go to the Caleb David rivalry, which was a lot of fun to watch you guys go against each other. Please ignore how I said rivalry there. We had a Caden Chris rivalry there where you guys were on opposite sides of the
Go,
house.
Chris.
Yeah, we loved watching that. We had Dime and the entire cast.
Okay, remove me. Remove me.
Minus Danny.
Just
But at
because
the end of
after
the
the
day,
Cody vote,
there was one
like, that's it.
rivalry that stood head and shoulders above the other fights
Oh?
that were constantly happening in this season. It goes to the entire cast versus the men of the production team, i.e. Alex and Jacob. You were all throwing so many hands, and it was wonderful for me and Heather to watch in particular.
I think
Yeah.
I think a top
Period.
5 like hypnotic moment for me that will forever stand the test of time is I gave an announcement that was something like, morning everyone, make sure you like cast your votes to evict and let us know if you won't be there. And Tawny's like, yeah, like I'm gonna listen to anything a man says, and then Heather just copy paste the exact same message. Oh man.
Tawny's a trendsetter. What can I say?
Quick, everyone throw tomatoes at Alex before we leave this section of awards.
No, stop
Oh
it.
yes. Everyone throw
boom.
reactions.
I hate
All
it here.
right,
Anyway.
I'm gonna do duo of the season because that was rivalry of the season. So we did have a few cute ones. Because we do like it a good duo, you know. So some honorable mentions. Like I feel like early on this was a little bit more than later, but like Jay and Jen did have like a relationship near the beginning of the game that like was really cool. Like I kind of was rooting for that to kind of like grow a little more. It didn't last as much, but that one was also really cool. We also did like the middlemen, as they refer to themselves, Jay and Caleb. So they like that name didn't come until very late in the
Right.
game.
Right.
Like really towards the end, but like the relationship between you two was always just so fun to watch. There's also Danny and Dime because like it was always so fun, and like
Kisses.
Dime was always like in like, as Dime would say it, in Danny Town in the jury. It was Danny Town, and it was really fun to watch that as well.
I love you, Dime.
And it was cute having each other's back and everything. And then the winners of that one are going to be Caleb and Caden. They were very close from almost the beginning. I think it kind of like solidified probably week 2 or 3. Like you were close before them, but like it kind of like solidified around a certain time. There were some like ups and downs. Like I think there was something that Caleb messaged in his project being like, I don't know if I trust Caden right now. And then like it went right back though. And it lasted even until the end where like Caden was messaging Caleb as Jay was like still debating his decision on who he was going to send home of Danny and Caden. Caden was messaging Caleb being like, I think it's my time. I don't know what's happening. I think it's like this. It was till the end kind of thing. But I don't think, if correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Caleb was bringing Caden to the end. I don't think we really had a duo that was like always set in stone that they were going to the end together, but like it was at least close with that.
I feel like we asked you once who you would bring, and you said Jay, but then like you may bounce back. I don't.
To be fair, one time you said Danny. This cast as a whole was very like flippant.
I don't think that much.
I nominated Jay and Danny for a reason. I kept Caden off the block at Final Four.
Yeah, but Final Four nominations.
It wasn't.
Like,
Caleb kept me off the block at the end. That's all that matters.
It wasn't even. I just wanted to not put Caden in danger. I wanted Caden to be the vote, and if Jay wanted to send Caden home, I wanted Jay to do it himself. So he had to win that veto and then vote.
But like that's why no shade. That's why y'all had to go because I knew y'all would
exactly.
Like that's why like I was put between a rock and a hard place. That's why I'm like I don't really know why you're that mad, Caden, but I was really put between a rock and a hard place here and all this. So I'm like, yeah, like what do you want me to do? Like lose to y'all? Like get their place?
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Lose.
I will say how we wouldn't care if each
all
other
y'all
won,
lost,
and then
so
you
it doesn't
voted
matter
me
anyway.
out.
I will say I'm pretty sure almost every single person in this cast would say one thing like 1 second and one thing the next. Because Caleb, I know in your project you have said that you were going to take Danny to Final 2. You said at one point you were going to bring Jay to Final 2, and one time you were going to bring Caden. So I got those to prove it.
I would have brought. I think I don't know what I would have done between Jay and Caden, but I wanted to throw it so that they took me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Caleb, you were
that didn't really work
that entire time.
Anyway, then
Wait, hold on.
What's
Caleb, you were lying to me this entire time?
We'll get to that later. We have a lot more to go through.
No.
We got awards to get through.
I'm not talking about your life and all that type of stuff. You were lying.
No, bitch.
What? Moving on.
Okay, continue.
We had the best duo of the season, but now we have the best alliance of the season. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably the easiest award for us to give. Road and Activity, we are almost certain that was going to be the winner for a really long time because we'd never seen a group that big last that long in any...
But they didn't.
In any season they host, but they didn't. So we do have to give Best Alliance to the Secret Society. The way y'all were in sync was impeccable. The way y'all were never looked at as a target was insane, and I can't really say much more than's already been said already. It was just really impressive work, and I do think it was kind of crazy how every time I went on Discord there was someone. Two of those people in their Discord call, and I was like, "Can these guys like stop for a second?"
We called every day.
Every day. Like, I was like, "Chill out, Jesus."
I could just talk to these bitches for hours.
Right before I went to work, like it was constant.
We heard Caden have road rage so many times. Like,
oh my god, yeah, you guys did hear me road rage a lot.
Oh yeah.
And with that, I can't say much more. So let's just move right on to the next award.
Yes, because with the best alliance, we also have to acknowledge the best alliance name. You guys were really creative with your naming conventions for your alliances. It was very fun to check in on the Discord, and there were 6 new names to memorize and figure out who was part of it. It was a lot of fun trying to figure out who came up with which name personally. Every time I saw a new one, I went, whose idea was this? And I had to trace it back. So the etymology of it was wonderful. We have an honorable mention of the Alliance cancel culture. That one I loved. I loved coming in to find that. I felt like it was very on theme.
Actually, I think that was either David or me.
Yeah,
or Chris. One of us 3.
Wait, who was in that?
That was a
It was
mega
like-
Don't
group.
remember.
6
Oh, I
people.
have-
It was
I
six
have
of
it.
us. It was six of us.
It was
It was-
Caleb, Chris, Danny, Dime, Jay, and Jen. So basically, like,
Oh yeah, Caleb told me about that.
Oh wait, maybe it was me. It might have been me, but I don't
From
know.
what-
I would say me, Chris, or David.
from what I remember, the only thing I remember was like it was just like 3 duos that were just like, what if we together? And it didn't really last long, but that's okay.
But we got a great name out of it.
We did.
I really think that was
The only
me.
name that we believe bested that truly has earned the best alliance name award of the season was Topher's Toxic Trio.
Whoa.
Brilliant.
Who was that?
Execution.
That was
level
Mike,
iteration.
Timeless Mike Jones, Jay, and Jen.
Wow.
And I can only
Word.
imagine that Jen came up with that, but I don't really
I
remember.
think it was Mike who came up with it.
Oh, was it Mike?
Yeah, honestly, that sounds like a Mike thing.
Yeah, that was.
Who would have
Mike.
thunk it?
have to
Topher's
shout
placement
out
one came up with the
season
name.
2 alum Topher.
Love. Shout out Topher. All right, with that, we can move on to Rob's Preacher.
Yeah, that's me. I say things now. It's been a while. I gave you guys a break.
Tomato. Sorry.
Yeah,
Are there only 4 options
for me to
for
now get
this?
tomatoes. I'll take it. I'll take all the ketchup I need. So honorable
Are there
mention
only
for
4
Rob
options for
Preacher.
this?
We did
Or-
count Vicky as a preacher, like a technicality. She was voted off before the jury phase was officially announced, and due to outstanding circumstances, filled in the responsibility as a juror.
Well said, Jacob.
No, sorry.
Yeah, muted. Let's go.
What beautiful, wonderful, honorable mention. We'll never even get to the part where I give Mike his award. With that being said, Mike, you're our preacher, man. We had such high expectations for you at the beginning of the season, and that
sorry I let you
round
down,
you went
Jacob.
home as adverse of like a round you were going up against, like Cody being the head of household, and I was like, Mike, it's fine. But then there was multiple people who kind of saw this opportunity and kind of exploited the fact that I was like, oh no, he's putting me up 1000%. I'm on the block, and started poking Cody. So I put him up,
I
put
would
him up,
like
put
to
him up,
take
put him
this
up, put him up.
time.
Either way, I do want to preface exactly just how well Mike was doing at the beginning of the game, like fostering those personal relationships. Like obviously the Roaring activity was an alliance for a good chunk of the season, but in the similar veins, how we thought Jay was kind of rodent adjacent to where a lot of people really trusted their biggest trusted players were in that alliance. Jay and Mike, I think, were the 2 people at the beginning of the game when, like, if we had to defect, like, if we had to, like, create something else, maybe some remnants of the rodents and somebody else, it was one of those. So Mike was really doing really well, and we weren't predicting him to go home. And we thought his HOH was a pretty solid HOH.
I was
like,
working with Mike.
Like, just so
I
you
didn't
know,
want Mike
I
to
was
go
the
home
one
at
that
all.
got you out. I told Cody to push you up, and you went home after that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Kaden, why would you do that?
You said I was your renom, so I had to. I don't know
I
what
never
to say.
I might have said
You
that.
and Chris said it. You and
Yeah.
Chris said it to
I
me.
might have said that.
We
I
had a
will be
3-person
so
chant, and you said it to
honest.
me.
But Caden, it's okay. I don't blame you at all, Caden.
No, it's okay. All love for you, Mike.
It's
All
all
love.
Cody. It's all Cody's fault.
I'll be honest. I think that Cody would have put up Mike regardless of anything Caden said, so I do not think that was a move necessarily on that part.
One final thing I will say before we move on: we do power rankings in this game, where basically we rank like basically each player's positioning each round just to like see how we're doing. Mike's power rankings in the 4 rounds he was in was 5 in round 1, 4 in round 2, 4 in round 3, and then 13th. The round he got out. We have never seen honestly, since Topher, I don't think we've ever seen such fast of a plummet.
Can I get mine later? I don't want everyone else to know.
We'll share that with y'all later.
Oh, okay.
Moving,
Okay.
we're gonna move right along. We have Rob Preacher, and now someone left.
Oh,
and now
not Mike left.
That's all he wanted.
He got his award, and then he left.
Okay, so we have Rob
Not the-
Preacher. We have Rob Preacher, and now we are going to move right on to Rob Jur. I'm going to get the honorable mention out of the way. Caden for honorable mention because as we've said before, you would not know Caden was playing a quote unquote newbie player game. I think the only time
Iconic.
I think the only time anyone was like saying anything was in another one of my favorite moments. I guess Caden was coming off as like talking to too many people at too many times, giving too much information, and Jen was like, "I'm gonna be honest, Caden's new player is kind of showing a little bit," but like backed off
Yeah.
very well, and were able to like never stop playing and like make the moves to get you to where you were. But we did not give Rob Jur to you. Instead, we gave Rob Jur to someone who may not have done as much as Caden, but somehow, from what we understand, this person, if they made it to the end, they had a very, very good shot of beating everyone that was left in the game at that point. And that includes you, Caleb. And that's why our Rob Jur goes to Jen, because the jury was hyping Jen so hard. It was crazy. And
She had to go.
And even in the game, Jen got the biggest threat to win, even though
that's why she had to go.
Exactly, Danny.
I don't think Jen was never in a bad position, but we as prod were never like Jen is like a front runner. But to everyone in the game or out of the game, Jen was like, Jen's winning. It's gonna happen. It's crazy.
It was Jen and Tawny were like the two that almost everybody was like,
Hello?
even in the jury before they came
Hello?
in.
100%.
We brought it up like
Jen and Tawny because I needed one of them gone.
we brought it
No,
up like
Caleb was
early
hyping them
on.
up
Like,
so bad, and since I'm new, I was like, I'll just take your word for it.
no, like they came in like with this aura. Like I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
hell no! Like we got to do something about this. Like this is crazy.
And nobody did it till jury, but
Well,
okay.
It was just
That
mess.
was weed smoke, Jay. That's the aura you were seeing.
I'm
I
dead.
smell a lot of that, so I get a lot of that aura.
And with that, we're going to move right on to our next awards, which are going to be our host favorite awards. We
Ooh,
told y'all,
favorite.
we told y'all to play to our to what we like, and we'll see who did best.
Okay.
Damn.
So
Damn.
I'm the first one, which I kind of have two honorable mentions because I'm not good at making decisions. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'll only have one honorable mention, and then there's me who's like, I got two, because I'm greedy. So my first honorable mention is going to be Caleb, because I think I even sat on a call with Caleb for like 2 hours at one night and just talked about things and like the game and everything, and it was a fun time, and it was so lovely to host, Caleb. Like I am absolutely obsessed with you. Yeah, like it was a lot, and I think one of the reasons I didn't pick you is because I know you were getting a lot of other awards tonight, so I do want to kind of like go through other ones. Another one
You're
is
my
Tawny,
favorite.
just because Tawny was a really big supporter of me, and kind of sometimes was a little bit of a saving grace for me in this game, just because I would be doing a lot this time around, and she would definitely be there, and it was really sweet, and I do love Tawny. My host favorite, however, partially for meme, partially for play, partially for keeping things going. So, as I mentioned, my last season's prod favorite's name was Chris. And so I thought it would be really, really funny if I chose Chris this season as my other prod favorite. Partially for the meme, partially because the other Chris was in Chris's prod chat and then was also Chris's long wave partner. Two, I think I only did like 2 interviews for this game, Chris being one of them, and I absolutely adored Chris from the interview. I felt really bad that it seemed like he started out in a rough position, but with the like underdog kind of story that was occurring, and like he had that kind of story, and I feel like had he gotten to the end and like mentioned how he wasn't in a good position early on and then kind of built himself back up from that. It was just an incredible thing to watch, and I had a lot of fun. And I think he even knew the position he was in, because I remember he was the last person on a Zoom call. And if you know us, we do those last to leave the Zoom confessionals. If you didn't get to do one, you should have stayed on the Zoom longer. And I just remember him being like, I'm frustrated with everybody in this game. And I'm like, honestly, the same, because mood. But yeah, I adored Chris this season. And so it's part like I do feel like Chris was my favorite, and part meme, because having two Chris's as proud favorites 2 seasons in a row is funny in my brain. Thank you.
Okay, time for my host favorite. Before I go on, is that Kat?
We have the favorite player of the game, Kat, has
Kat!
applied for a cameo at the end of the season. Kat, these are your house mates that you said 3 words to.
I think I'm sunburned. Hi.
She has sunburn, I think.
That is a significant difference.
Icon.
So it's part of the season. Don't lick my ear. What's wrong with you? Stop it. No. She's my sister, in case anyone didn't get that heads up. I was not just attacked by a random house guest.
No, she was.
I mean, leave me alone. Okay, anyway.
All right, anyway. So I'll move on to my host favorite. So like we said, we have the last leave the Zoom call confessionals. It's basically whenever we have a who's Jacob, what control your people. Whenever we have a Zoom ceremony, basically whoever is the last person on will basically just corner that person and just be like, hold on, one sec, and start recording, and then just ask you a bunch of questions about the game, because sometimes y'all don't talk too much in your podcast, which is totally fine. Like, and this is the player that I think probably did the most and was probably the most eager to do a last leave the Zoom call confessional. Like, whenever a ceremony was over, they would get on camera and be like, is it time? Is it time? I don't know what you're trying to spell, Kaden, but
Caleb. No?
I do love Caleb. I will say.
Okay.
But instead, my host favorite goes to someone who was not only very eager to do their last leave the Zoom call confessionals, but as we said before, was very polite, and probably the most polite to everyone in the game, especially, or not, maybe not especially, but even the prod members in the game. And it was just such a joy having them around, especially because we've been trying to get them to play for 4 seasons now, and they finally have played. So my host favorite goes to Jesse. Just
Yay,
Let's go, Jesse.
Jesse.
Let's go, Jesse.
Jesse, you know I love you. I hope this makes up for me giving you worst move of the season, but I love playing with you, and I've loved hosting you as well. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, so speaking of pleasure, well, here's
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so here's my host
Stop
favorite.
it there, Jacob. Stop it there.
That was a horrible segue. It sounded a lot better in my head, but apparently not. But unfortunately, there's tons of honorable mentions, at least for me. This is a very difficult season for me to pinpoint who my favorite was. What ended up leaning on this person is because, one, I don't want to be biased. I think it'd be easy to just pick like the people I'm on prod in a game for, like, well, I was never picking Tawny, but you know, like it would be unfair. Anyways, it would be unfair if I picked Caden, or Mike if he made it a little bit further into the game. So I kind of just picked this person not to kind of give them an opportunity to give them some flowers, but this was honestly, if this is another award for me personally, most unexpected, like kind of like the biggest shock for me, I think, ever. Because like preseason, I kind of assess how I think everyone's going to do. You're going to see the cast assessment postseason. And I said that this person I felt was good in Survivor, but I do not know how he would do on Big Brother. And he far exceeded my expectations. Like Jay, like I've seen kind of like your journey, so to speak, you know, technically kind of played your first game, and then I was in with you within your second, and then I've hosted you in both of your best placements. I think 5th and 2nd are the best you've done in games before. And you know, preseason, obviously saw your potential. You know, I thought you were great from working at the bottom. You were great from working at the top, but all I had to go off was wheel. So I was worried for you preseason. But then kind of seeing you link up with the secret society, you were in good with the rest of the rodents. You were kind of good at the other half of the house with like Danny, Dime, and David, really trusting and messing with you too. You know, you were in good kind of reconciling your beef with Mike, you know, your 3-game long rivalry with Mike. Mike was like, nah, I trust this guy now. That I was glad. I'm glad we are able to, you know, not just like carry our beef from our past games into here. And you making it all the way to Final Four, being unnominated, and actually being the only person in the series history to just never be a final nom. That's an incredible feat. I'm shocked because both you and Caleb broke the record for how long y'all lasted in the game without ever touching the block, period. And so that type of social prowess to shine through, you know, to go from like me giving you underdog last season to kind of being one of the top dogs, kind of like being like this dark horse to take it at the end, you know, like I'm very proud of you. I'm very shocked. I mean, I know you got to win, and you know, I know tonight didn't plan out the way you wanted it to, but you played a phenomenal game. You deserve your flowers. I can't really speak much to the testament of how well you played, man. Like I can't. There's no words for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, and I like I said, like obviously I probably would have found the game, but honestly, if it was like if you didn't tell me about it, like I'm glad you told me about it, and I'm glad because I was not gonna play it. Like honestly, like after the last 2 games, I was like, nah, I probably should take a break. And I was like, nah, this is Jacob's game. I played. I did good in Spellbound. I probably do good in this, and I did. I did better than like I exceeded my own expectations, and it was like really fun and like to the whole like jury and cast. Like honestly, I had to sit with it for a bit. I was like, right after it was announced, but I got love for all of you guys. Like it was fun. Like in the moment, I just needed to sit, but I love all you guys, honestly.
Oh man, you had no idea how happy I was to see you in the app pool because I also thought you weren't gonna play. Like I saw you applied. Before I can even text you to even like try to get you to play. You already applied. I was like, oh, because it was right after Distortion, like you finished for you. So I was really happy to see you on the app, on the cast. So you more than delivered, and I'm very proud to see
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Jacob, get your friends to stop throwing tomatoes at me on Discord.
We're gonna keep going.
Anyway.
Yeah, but you deserve it, Alex. So like I can't stop them. I can't stop them from doing something that's right.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
So, for my host favorite, I know that I was less active this season, but I promise I was lurking the whole time and watching all of you move around and make connections and make game moves, and it was all just, it was really a joy and a blessing to be able to watch everybody play, especially this season. It was a great, almost break from reality in the best possible way, where I could kind of like come into the Discord and see what was going on and see what everyone was up to and just kind of like enjoy the madness a little bit. But there was definitely one player where whenever their name popped up in my notifications, I immediately like sat up straight. I was like, okay, what are they up to this time? What's going on with them? Because when we went in, I had no idea what this player was gonna do this season, and coming out, I'm impressed and excited to see how far they've come, and I can't wait to see what they do next in orgs. So, Caden, I have picked you for my host favorite. I loved watching you this season, and good job.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
All right, now, guys, we're finally here. The final award of the. Oh, technically not. We have some consolidation awards, some consolation prizes. So for everybody, so everyone gets something at least tonight. So I'm going to, before I kill my company here, I'm going to award the person Potts, the player of the season. One honorable mention. I mean, I know that this person got a lot of awards tonight, but and I've already kind of spoken my praises to them personally. I totally didn't hang out with them like 3 days ago. But yeah, Caden obviously played a great game, received a lot of awards. But there's this one person here who because we don't give it to finalists. And I wasn't expecting for this person not to make fun. I was so shocked because and player of the season, Caleb, like the way you were able to finesse. The way you were able to get in good with everybody. And anytime you did anything suspicious, you were immediately being able to smooth it over. You flipped to get rid of Vicky over quests that run wild. And I was really worried about like your positioning in the game. But then you immediately reconciled with Kaden, got in with Jay's ear, started talking to other people, and you were right back into the position you found yourself in at the beginning of the game. Like aside from Jen at the beginning, like no one really contested you in that regard. Like I don't know what HOH, what combination of like these two people, this person wins HOH, this person wins veto, where you end up on the block, let alone in the position to go home. And the only way, I'm saying the only way Caleb loses here is if he gets sniped at 3. Because if he gets to the end, I think even though we talked about a couple of the people obviously having great jury management and great win equity from long out. We mentioned Jen. Danny had tons of supporters just from all the way at the beginning of the jury phase, with Cody and Dime and David going in there. I think just the game and just how phenomenal you were able to position yourself strategically, how well endeared you were to the cast socially, and how you didn't even need to win that many comps. You won a couple pivotal comps, like that Final 4 HOH, I think is a go-to. Like I nobody can be mad at me for who goes here. This is not at all my decision. The nominees don't matter, so to speak. You played a stupendous game, and both me and Alex, and you'll see this in the cast assessment, both me and Alex had you as our winner pick. We said going into the season, looking at the whole cast, I'm like,
thank you.
I think Caleb's got this, and you did not.
For my draft.
Because you had the ones before us. We couldn't snatch you. We would have if we could have, but we played an amazing game, man. You killed it. I'm glad.
I appreciate it. I loved this season. It was wonderful, and the prod team is amazing. I love all of you guys.
And with that, to close out the season, we have some consolidation awards. I think I'm just gonna read through all of them quickly just to get them out of the way.
Oh, we're rapid firing.
Yeah, just rapid fire. If anyone wants to like elaborate on them, I guess you could do that. Just okay, because it's been a while already. But I'll get through. So we're gonna start last place and move all the way up. Everyone gets one award. Kat comes away with the Greatest Disappearing Act award. We don't know where she went, but it was absolutely incredible, the magic she was able to do. Gav. Oh, there she is. Okay. It just took her 44 days to show up again. Gav gets the Unluckiest with the Demonetized Placement award, because Gav was in the game for 2 rounds and technically would have been demonetized both rounds, which is it's really unfortunate. Caitlyn gets the Most Viral award. Did y'all know Caitlyn's intro video has like 2,000 views?
Yes.
Because I found that and it doesn't. What happened?
I don't know. And like from our analytics,
I think like our top 10 are all women, which is really cool.
Our top 10 most viewed intro videos are all women, which is really fun, and I love that. But Caitlyn, like, it wasn't even at the beginning too. Like, it was just a slow, like, incline. Like, just people watching it like every single day. We're like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy.
Like, I almost made that like a tiebreaker question. Like, how many views does Caitlyn's intro video have? Because
we do have a theory that like because the Big Brother season was actively starting, and we think people might have thought Caitlyn was like on the cast.
Yeah.
That's what I said to Caleb too.
Yeah, that would have been funny. But oh well. Mike was the best list maker of the season, because everyone knows if you do something that Mike doesn't like, you're going to make his list, and there's just no way around that. Vicky gets the Most Affected by a Vote Flip award. We already talked about how chaotic that round was, but, like, Vicky should have made the jury proper in, like, 9 out of 10 scenarios, and then this was just the 10th scenario where something weird happened. Cody gets the Biggest House Fight Caused by Their Exit award, because here's the thing. In retrospect, it was kind of funny that I had to wait like 10 minutes for y'all to hash things out before I could start that HOH comp after their eviction, which I just thought was pretty funny. Dime gets the pinkest slip or the biggest Chief Keef fan award.
Thank you. Thank
I-
you.
I here's the thing. I didn't know that song. I looked up that song and I was shocked to find out it's only one lyric. I thought that was the chorus. Nope, it's just one lyric.
You see, I was singing that just around the house, and Alex is like, "Oh, you're on this train too." I'm like, I got it in my
No,
head.
Dime, I'm not gonna lie. Like earlier, I was singing it to myself. I was
Yeah,
just
you had
like
me
singing
singing
it
it to
to
myself too, Dime. I'm gonna be real.
It's such a good song. Pink slips license, pink slips license.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. David gets the most itching for a vote flip award. Like, without fail, every single round.
Okay.
It was like,
Oh my
okay, but what if we did this? It's
literally just
and it was even the rounds where it was like kind of obvious who was going out. David did make things very entertaining. Just
David did not care. He still tried to flip it though.
I know.
He
it
wanted
was,
to
it was
flip
great.
anything and everything.
I will say a secondary award was the best jury question. I think I drank during that entire segment.
I think I think all of us were very entertained by that and not confused at all. Jen gets the actually gets two. So some of you all get two because we couldn't decide, not because y'all are like better than anyone else or anything like that. Jen gets both the most selfless vote out award for basically just going right to the rodents and being like, just vote me out. Like, this is I can't believe this. I can't believe the rodents are breaking up. This is too sad. But also the most trust ranking edits award. I can't really count how many times Jen was just like, no, do this one. No, wait, do this one. Wait, hold on.
Like, I think because like Caden was like second last after Caden put them up on the block, and they went on a call, and like 5 minutes later, it's like, okay, Caden's on number 4. I'm like, all right, like it didn't even take you that long for you to change like your mind on these people, and like it would just be like messages after one another, like I really trust David, I really want to trust him. He just talks this way that's super shady. I really trust him. I don't anymore. I trust him. I don't.
Oh my god.
Constant shade.
Tawny gets the best use of a final plea award. Like Tawny knew she was going, so she was just like, okay, everyone's getting their dirty laundry spilled.
Everything's getting out.
What a way to end live night, let me tell you. Chris,
I also think that with Tawny's final plea, I guess, to Jay to use the veto was, you have to use it on me. You have no choice.
You didn't give him an option at all.
It was so funny. I was like,
I gave him options.
Oh.
Oh,
So
okay,
he did
fine.
have a choice. He had multiple different choices.
I know.
it was either use it or don't vote her out. Like,
Yeah, it was something like that.
Oh my
Like,
God.
use it on me.
Or don't. And keep me. Chris gets the best seat warmer award because y'all just did not stop putting him up on the block. And actually this one does in part go as a connected award with Chris and Dime for just the fact that they were both put up 3 times
together.
It's hard being a hottie. Okay?
It
He
really,
was put up every possible way he could have. Like he got demonetized. He was just put up just basically. He was on a
put up as a
partner with
group.
someone, and he still was going up on the block.
Oh my gosh.
He tied, I think. He tied the
He
most
tied the
times
record,
on the block,
and that's the most
like,
disappointing
for
thing. Y'all
Hypnotic.
couldn't even make him break the record. Y'all had to vote him out when he tied the record.
Like Danny was nominated the last 4 rounds of the game, and Chris still beat him. And
Oh man. Jessie gets the best doctor award, mostly for all of her checkups. Mostly for all of her checkups on prod. So how's everyone doing today? Everyone doing good? How's everyone's day today? It just love it. Caden gets the most eager to backdoor prod award.
Jacob.
Never seen such like vehement energy to wanting to get again mostly the men out on prod.
Most noteworthy
Bye, Jacob.
from like the quotes, like who said what, was Caden saying Jacob could be up against Shane Dawson and Jacob would probably still go. But
yeah, that was a good one. Caleb gets the biggest stickler for Glee songs award. I forget how many times that was asked.
You'd never answered.
I
I don't
answered
watch
it. I said
Glee.
Gangnam Style, and you didn't accept
No,
it.
'cause
You
that's
said, "Oh, I'll come
trash.
back," and you come up with better answers.
Because that's trash.
Ah.
And you still don't come on.
We can discuss it later. Jay gets two. Actually, both of the finalists get 2 awards. Jay gets the most likely to change scenery award. For the amount of times you'd be in this room and then you go off camera and then you'd be outside and we're like, when did that happen? And also the most likely to be Mrs. Puff in another lifetime award. Because Jay, if you could you turn your camera off, please, just really quickly, yeah, there it is. Still probably the best avatar I've ever seen on Zoom. And then Danny gets the most notable iPad user award. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the most notable iPad 2 user award.
Bullshit.
You weren't just an iPad user. You were an iPad 2 user.
And also, you also get the award for most likely. It's impressive you beat Caden for this. Most likely to tell Jacob to shut the fuck up.
Because I was doing a confessional with you, and I don't know if you just woke up from like a nap or you were high, you were drunk or something. And I asked you a very simple question. You were like, "Did I answer it?" I was like, "Yeah, no, that's a good answer." It's like, Jacob, shut the fuck up. I was like, I just told you answered the question.
I feel like that award could have gone to Danny, Caden, or Tawny, but the thing is, Tawny this season actually shat on Alex a little bit more, so like we couldn't
Yeah,
give it
that was
to
interesting.
Tawny, even though we thought Tawny would shit on Jacob a lot more.
Oh my gosh!
I still have to work
Tawny
with
wasn't in the
Jacob.
game long enough to beat Danny for that award.
For sure.
I bully him every day. It's fine. He gets enough with me in our pro chat, so you know.
All right. And with that does end our award ceremony, and that does end our season officially. We said it at the beginning of the game, but we'll say it again here. Thank you guys so much for playing. This is truly one of the best things we get to just do, like, in like our free time, and we love the fact that again, there's been enough interest for 4 seasons, and this has been such a blast to host. I'm going to be mostly sad when this is over and I don't have to host anything, but also a little happy to get some free time back because y'all know our schedules have been hectic. But I will be upset to not get to see you guys every day and get to talk to you and see what's going on in the game. So thank you once again for hosting. I hope you all had some fun. And for the final time...
Wait, can I say something?
What, Danny? What's up?
I'm wicked Jacob falling out. I just want to say thank you to all of you for voting me for your winner and to be the representation of this season. And Alex and the rest of the team, thank you for putting on such an awesome game. And keep being awesome. Alex, keep going.
Well, with that, for the final time, good night, house guests.